Hi, I'm Mike Richter, and today we're going to be talking about what's your side hustle. And for this episode, we're talking about lawn care. Let's get started. So just as an overview of what you could expect in this video, we're going to talk about what is lawn care. Pretty obvious, but I should explain a couple of things about that. We'll also talk about the pros of doing lawn care as a side hustle. We'll also talk about the corresponding cons associated with doing lawn care as a side hustle. We'll also talk about starting up, the different things you'll need to start up and get going in this business. And finally, we'll end up with marketing and scaling your business. So let's move on to what is lawn care. So personally, in my houses, I love grass. Grass is a great thing for my kids to play on. It looks nice as long as it's well taken care of. But here's the thing. I really hate taking care of lawns because I don't have a lawnmower. I had a lawnmower, but when I did have a lawnmower, I kind of didn't maintain it as well as I should have, and it's hot out there. I really don't like mowing lawns, so that's why I don't do lawn care. But it's a great thing for people that are willing to go out and put the hustle into it. So many people just hate mowing their lawns, but they want a nice looking lawn. They understand the value of having a well manicured yard. They understand that there's a social value associated with keeping your house up, especially if you're in a nicer neighborhood. And it takes a lot of time and effort to do the job right if you don't do it for a living, or you don't do it as a side hustle where you've found all the most efficient ways of getting it done. And here's the thing, is it's a lot more than just mowing. If it was just the mowing part, that would be one thing. But I hate the cleaning up after it. I hate edging. There are a lot of things that are not so good about it from my perspective. And a great reason why it's a value-added opportunity for somebody who's willing to go ahead and do that on my behalf. In fact, I have my lawn mowed twice a month, so the guy that's mowing my lawn makes $80 a month for all of 2 hours of his time. Not too bad. He's making $40 an hour when he's working at my house. So it's a great thing for him. It works out, and he's got quite a few other clients, so that works out really well for him. Now, as a side hustle, you could scale it to be as big as you want, and you can eventually have it become your main business for most of the year. Or you can limit it to 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. And that's a pretty good client base. However, there's something you want to know about it is a fairly competitive market. But here's the thing. You just have to act like a professional, act on your promises, show up when you say you're going to show up, and do a decent job, and you'll get repeat business. Because there are a lot of people that do lawns out there that don't show up when you ask them to show up. They don't keep their promises. They are really bad about communicating with you and giving you an idea of what's going on. That exists out there. So just by offering a decent amount of customer service and over-delivering will go a long way for you and your lawn care side hustle. So what are some of the pros associated with doing lawn care as a side hustle? Well, it's relatively inexpensive to start. It only costs you about $500 to get a decent starting mower, leaf blower, and trimmer so that you can do your basic bread and butter job, which is mow and manicure and take care of people's yards. Very straightforward. There's stable repeat business. There's a funny thing about grass. It keeps growing for the most part as long as you're taking care of it and watering it. So, because it keeps growing, it keeps needing you to go out and mow it. However, there's something that you want to be aware of is depending on where you're at, grass may grow for more months out of the year than less. So you want to go ahead and get an idea of what the grass kind of geographic landscape works for you in your area. In my area, the first cut of the year is probably in February, and I stopped getting my lawn cut sometime in early November. So for 4 months out of the year, my lawn's not getting cut, but that's fine because people that do lawn care as a side hustle will go ahead and save up over time so that they can get through their lean months. There are plenty of upsell opportunities with lawn care, with different kinds of consumables and different additional services that you can offer that are a natural outflow of what lawn care is. I'll talk about that later in scaling and marketing. Speaking of scaling, it is very scalable. This could end up being a full-blown business for you, to the point where maybe you need to hire an employee or so that you could focus on your marketing efforts, get good sorts of routes for your people, and then efficiently using their time so that you can make more money for their limited hours that they're working for you. Another pro is physical activity. It is physically demanding to do lawn care as a living. So if you want to get more physical activity out, it's not a bad thing to do. Let's talk about some cons though. The biggest con to doing this as a side hustle is that it is seasonal, right? I talked about how 4 months out of the year in my area, I don't get my lawn cut. So something you might want to do is find a different side hustle for those periods of time, and then as first cut time comes around for your area, that you start soliciting not only your previous customers, but other customers as well, with a good loss leader to get them back in a recurring business for the next 8 months. Another thing that's a con is you'll need something to transport your equipment, and you'll need some place to store your equipment so that you don't have gas going or in your garage area where you might keep your car. You have it in separate storage so that you isolate those smells to something else. Another con is it is a highly competitive area, in that mowing a lawn doesn't take a lot of special tools, doesn't take a lot of special knowledge to do right. So there's a lot of people that'll be out there doing it. However, like I said before, the best things that you can do to really stand out is to over-deliver to your customers and to make sure that you're keeping all of your promises so that they know that you're a man or a woman of integrity and that you're a good business person to deal with. And that will end up helping you in something else we'll talk about later on. Another con is economic risk. When times are really bad as far as the economy is concerned, lawn mowing and other simple convenience services like lawn mowing are usually the first things to be cut off of the budget. But I tell you what, I'm not really the kind of guy to cut that out of my budget, because I know I would hate to go out and buy used lawn equipment or go and spend the money on new lawn equipment and trying to figure it out myself. I'm not going to do that. So let's talk about what it actually costs you to start up. So for the main three tools, the mower, the trimmer, and the blower, I'm going to be leaving fairly economical options as well as a good starter option in the description below, links to them so that you can get them if you're interested in starting up a lawn care side hustle. So mowers are typically fairly cheap if you buy them used, but the trick about that is you don't know how dependable they're going to be, which is why if you're going to do this as a side hustle, I would eliminate as many points that you can fail on as possible and just buy a new mower. If you're willing to do a push mower, then you can get one that's in a great quality product for about $200, and for a new self-propelled mower, you could probably get one for about $300. Now, these mowers are great for small and medium-sized lawns. For the larger lawns, you're probably going to want to invest in a riding mower, which will help you not only on your large lawns, but that time savings will also come out in your small and your medium lawns. But for the purposes of starting off in the lawn mowing side hustle and the lawn care side hustle, you want to go ahead and start with something that can handle small and medium-sized yards. And one of these kinds of mowers will be a good way to get started. You'll also need a trimmer so that you can edge the sidewalks and the parking area and things like that, especially right around fence lines and around AC units and things like that. They're pretty cheap if you buy them used, but you can buy new ones for $80 to $100 that'll do a good job for you. As far as a blower, what you need a blower for is your finishing touches. I hate it when a lawn care specialist goes ahead and cuts my lawn and then leaves all my grass clippings all over the sidewalk and all over my parking pad, when I could go ahead and supply a broom and they can go ahead and sweep it up. Or if they've got a blower, they can go ahead and clean that up real quick. So it's really about having that finishing touch that leaves a really good looking lawn. And you can get a good blower fairly cheap if you want to buy used, but $80 to $100 if you want to buy new. Now, all of the mowers, trimmers, and blowers that I'm recommending in the description below are gas powered. And the reason why is that's just one set of troubles that you're isolating. We're about limiting failures here. And if you have your own gas powered stuff, you can make sure to have two-stroke gas available for all of your tools ready to go, and not have to depend on, oh, well, is there an outlet that I could use outdoors? Do I have a long enough extension cord? And a lot of the other worries that you have to deal with electric tools. If you're all about that and the landowner lets you use their electricity, then by all means, that's pretty cool. But I'd be about limiting failure and making sure that I can be as self-contained as possible, especially if I'm just starting up this business, so that it makes it so that I can not only deliver but over-deliver on all of my promises to my customers. You'll also need storage. So you want to dedicate a portion of your garage or maybe a little storage shed. You'll need fuel. Obviously, all of these gas-powered tools need gas to run. And you'll need transportation. You can get all these tools, that would be great, but if you have no way to get it to where the job site is, then they're kind of useless to you. So these are the kinds of things that you're going to need to start up. So you need about $500 for your basic tools. As far as marketing and scaling is concerned, when you're first starting out your lawn care business, you want to go around to steady middle class and upper middle class neighborhoods and drive for dollars. You go ahead and you find the lawns that kind of aren't really well taken care of, and you go up and ask them if they're willing to give you a shot. I mean, obviously you can start with a loss leader. This is where you offer a steeply discounted rate for your trial run. That way they can get an idea of what your quality of work is, and then once you're done with that, you can sell them on a recurring every other week kind of job. Once you have a few clients lined up, you want to make sure that you're asking for referrals. If you're doing a great job for people, then people would be more than happy to recommend you to their friends and to their family. And then you get to continue building a client base from there. You always want to maintain good relationships with all of your customers. And once again, the biggest part of this is operating with integrity and always keeping your promises. Now, a couple of notes on scaling is once you have a fairly consistent market base to go on, there are two things you want to look at as far as scaling. One, you want to make sure that you're upselling services like weeding services or lawn feeding. Maybe you want to get yourself a tree trimmer or a brush trimmer and offer those kind of services to your customers as well. Because usually if they have a well-kept yard, they also have trees and some bushes that need to be trimmed back every now and then. So make sure that you offer those services once you get to the point where you're growing into needing more opportunities to make money with lawn care and how to serve your customers that much better. And also, when you're scaling, one of the toughest things that people end up doing to themselves, and where they make it really hard on themselves for this and most other kinds of service side hustles, is chunking. You want to chunk your customers by geographic area. So maybe there's one subdivision that you've got 5 clients in. You want to make sure that you get all 5 of those clients. If you're going to do this full time, you want to get them all serviced on the same day, if at all possible. What you don't want to do is waste 15 to 20 minutes driving between your different customers. So if you can find a way to get your customers to agree to every other Wednesday or every other Tuesday to be mowed, and then you can make sure to group other people that are in their neighborhood or fairly close to their neighborhood together so that you're not driving all over town and really cutting your profits as far as the use of your time. So just a quick recap, we talked about what is lawn care. It's a commodity service that a lot of people want, need, and desire. Like me, I really like having my lawn cut because I hate doing it myself. We talked about some of the pros associated with doing lawn care as a side hustle. It's scalable, there's recurring income, and it's fairly decent as far as startup costs. As far as cons, it is seasonal in nature, so you need to worry about what am I going to do for the other 4 months out of the year, or however many months make sense in your geographic area. Another con is that it is a commodity service. There are a lot of people that offer that, but the way to beat that is to make sure that you're always giving your word and you're always over-delivering on your promises. We talked about the kinds of things you need to start up, like your mower, your trimmer, and your blower. I've got options for you down in the description below if you're looking to start up a lawn care service, so be sure to check those out. And we also talked about marketing and scaling. When you're starting out, driving for dollars and offering loss leaders so that they can try you out and see if they want to continue your services. And in scaling, making sure to chunk your clients and customers together in a fairly small geographic area so you're not wasting your time driving all over town. And we also talked about offering upsell services like consumables, weed and feed every 4 to 6 weeks to maintain a good and healthy lawn, and things like tree and brush services. Kind of a decent deal. So if you like this video, by all means, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you find that your friends might get some value out of this, go ahead and share it. If you'd like to see more from this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to see more from this channel when content is released, go ahead and hit that little bell symbol by the subscribe button so that you can update your notification settings so you can always get first notification when something new happens on this channel. Now remember one thing. You're only one action away from the rest of your life, and it's up to you to make it count. Have a fantastic day.